Hey team, I hope you're all well. Gary here from Gary Rankin Coaching, and today we're going to be talking about setting up our environments for performance and success. The environments which we are in play a hugely important factor in our ability to motivate and inspire ourselves, to take action and to perform to the very best of our abilities. So in that sense, our environments are something that we can leverage to help put us in the right mental, physical, emotional and energetic state to perform at the best of our abilities and get the results that we want. When it comes to environment, it is all about energy and influence. How are the specific environments we're in currently influencing our energy? Do they energize and inspire us, or do they distract and drain us? To help us to answer these questions and optimize our environments to perform our best and get success, we're going to be looking at some specific areas, like our temptations, our triggers, an adequate setting for performance, comfort of clothing, adequacy of equipment, and access to support and technology to help us get feedback and improve. So please make sure you've got your pad and pen or journal at the ready so that you can take notes as we go through this. And of course, at the end, we'll be going through an exercise to help you optimize your environment to perform your best and get the results that you want. So without any further ado, let's get into it. The very first step to optimizing an environment for success is being clear on what it is we want to achieve. What is our goal? What is the end outcome? Because once we're clear on what the goal or end outcome is, we'll then be clear on the actions we need to take, and from there we can then decide what's the best environment to help us achieve success. So, what is your goal and what kind of actions are you going to need to take? Now you're clear on that, we can now begin to take into consideration our environment. Starting off with mitigating temptations. Temptations are things in our environment that are going to tempt us to be led astray. So for example, if your goal is to eat healthier, but you have chocolates, biscuits and unhealthy snacks in the house, then you may be tempted to reach for one of those instead of reaching for the healthy snack. Or maybe your goal is to get some home workouts done consistently, but you plan on doing it in a living room where you know other people might be watching TV, and so when you walk in to do your workout, you might be tempted just to sit down and relax yourself. So, have a think about your environment and some of the temptations that could be there and how we can begin to mitigate them. Next, we want to think about triggers. Triggers are things within our environments that when we see and hear them, it elicits certain mental and emotional states. So there may be things in our environments that when we see and hear them, it elicits a negative mental and emotional reaction, like creating resistance, fear, doubt, uncertainty, guilt, shame, embarrassment, or even just distracting us. Things that stop us from taking action in the first place or stop us from performing at our very best. At the same time, we can also have things in our environment that elicit positive mental and emotional states, things that energize and inspire us to take action and to perform at our very best. So for example, if you go to work out at home and you walk into the living room and you see some bills lying there and all of a sudden you're thinking about money and paying those bills and you're distracted, and it either stops you taking action in the first place, or while you're working out, you're now thinking about those bills and not doing your very best. At the same time, positive triggers, like when you walk into a gym and there's inspiring messages written on the wall or inspiring images and murals put there so that when you read and see these things, it inspires you and energizes you to continue taking action. So what we want to think about is some of the things in our environment and how it is they affect us when we see them, so that we can take the negative triggers away and add in positive triggers. In the book, The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg, he talks about a study that was done in a sales environment where salespeople in a call centre were working in a dull, boring environment, and some other salespeople were working in an environment where they put up images of athletes crossing the finish line, celebrating and winning their events. And the salespeople who were in the environment with these inspiring images performed much better than the people in the plain environment. So have a think about what things you can mitigate and what things you can add into your environment to trigger positive mental and emotional states to perform your very best. Our next consideration is an adequate setting for performance, where it is we're going to be performing and taking action. And in particular, that environment's climate and temperature, the physical surroundings around us, and the lighting. All these things play an influence in our energy and thus our ability to take action and perform at our best. So for example, if you're committing to doing an intense cardio workout, you maybe don't want to be doing that at the hottest point in the day during the height of summer. If you're committing to doing a weightlifting workout, you maybe don't want to be doing that in a cold environment where your muscles are going to stay stiff. At the same time, if I'm going to do a HIIT workout, I'm certainly not going to do it in this office. I'm going to want somewhere where there's plenty of space around me so that I'm not having to avoid or bang into things. And then of course, the lighting. If lighting is too bright, it can give us a headache. If lighting is too dull, it can strain our eyes or demotivate us. And so, think about where it is you're going to be taking action and what the best climate, temperature, physical surroundings and lighting is for you to perform at your very best. This next one may sound trivial, but I promise you it does have an impact on our energy and our ability to take action and perform at our very best. And that is the comfort of our clothing. When our clothing is comfortable and we feel good in it, it energizes and inspires us to take action and perform at our very best. But if our clothing is uncomfortable or unsuitable for what we're going to be doing, it can limit us, stop us from taking action or distract us from performing at our very best. So for example, the same baggy shorts that I wear to lift weights are not what I will wear to go for a run. And the clothes that I wear to record content that goes out to the world are not what I'm going to wear to paint inside the house. And so what we wear, how comfortable it is and how appropriate it is for the activities we're doing has a huge impact on us. I know that when I put on an old baggy t-shirt, I don't feel as good as I do when I put on a nice tight fitted one. That's just my personal preference. And so have a think about what your goal is, what action you're going to be taking, what environment you're going to be taking in, and what clothing would be most comfortable for you and appropriate to set you up to take action and perform at your best. The second last thing we want to consider is the adequacy of equipment. Are the equipment and tools we're going to be using in a good condition to allow us to perform at our very best? So, of course, we want to think about what's our goal, what action are we going to take, and what equipment do we need to take that action? And then consider, is that equipment in good condition for me to take action safely and perform at my very best? So let's say you want to take up running, but you don't have any running shoes. You may want to consider getting shoes for going running. Or maybe you do have running shoes, but you've had them for a few years now. Therefore, they don't quite absorb the impact anymore, which can slow you down or potentially end up in you becoming injured. And so we want to consider, what equipment do I need? Have I got it? And is it in good condition? Last but by no means least, we want to consider, do we have access to technology and support to get feedback that's going to help us to improve? So for example, let's say that you're taking up weightlifting and you're doing it from home, so you're not with a coach every time you do it. Can you use a mobile phone to film yourself and make sure that you've got the correct form so that you do things properly and don't end up injuring yourself? Maybe you're taking up running and you want to improve your cardio. So do you have a phone, a watch, or some form of fitness tracker that allows you to assess how fast you're running, what your cadence is, your heart rate, and all these kind of metrics that are going to allow you to see if you're improving? If your goal is to do with diet and nutrition, even something as simple as a journal to keep a food diary or MyFitnessPal to track your calories. It's about taking into consideration what technology and what support we can get to give us the feedback we need in order to improve. Now that we've learned about the different areas of influence within our environments, this is where the rubber meets the road, so to speak. And we're going to go through an exercise to help us to take what we've learned, implement and action it so we can optimize our environments to perform our very best and achieve the success that we want. So after each question, please pause the video and make sure to answer it. First things first, thinking about your goal. Ask yourself, which environmental factors may be limiting, draining, or distracting you from taking action and performing at your very best? Now, ask yourself, what can you do to completely eradicate, mitigate, or transform these negative influences so that they stop having a negative impact or even begin to start having a positive one? Next, thinking about your goal, which environmental factors are energizing, inspiring you, and having a positive influence, and how can you double down on them to make sure that they continue to have a positive effect? And lastly, what other changes can you make or things can you add to your environment to increase its positive influence on you? Congratulations! You've now got some key insights and action steps that you can go away and implement to help you to optimize your environment so that you can take action and perform at your very best much more consistently, whatever your goal is. And remember, this is all about creating the optimal environment for you. An environment that makes you feel good. An environment that keeps you focused and free from distraction. And so if we could simplify all of it, we want to create an environment that when we walk in there, it triggers us to feel energized and inspired to get started. It's appropriately set up for the actions and performance we want to undertake, and it's going to allow us to stay focused, energized, and perform at our very best. And so in that sense, what the optimal environment, what the best environment is for you is going to be personal to you. So use the questions in the exercise, trust the answers that come up, trust your inner knowing, and go and put it into action. Even just implement 1 or 2 changes at a time and notice the effect they have on you. If they work, great, keep them, maybe even double down on them. If they don't work, throw them away and try something else. First, we have to implement and take action, and then we can assess and course correct from there. So take what you've learned today, take your insights, go and take action, and enjoy seeing your energy and your performance increase. If you have any questions about any of this, please feel free to ask your coach to reach out to me, or you can reach out to me directly on social media. I'm on Instagram @GaryRankin_. Take care, take action, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Peace.